Hi, everybody. Welcome to our second event in our Algorand guest speaker series here at University of Florida, UF Blockchain Lab. So today we have a great honor to welcome Giacomo Palmisani, most commonly known as Pigi in blockchain circles. So Pigi today will give us a bit of a little overview of Algorand space, and then he will also talk about metaverse, about NFTs, and about a creator economy, all topics that we've been talking about quite some time in this semester. And then we will definitely have the last 15 minutes for questions. I know there were a lot of questions here that I have been asked in regards to what we can ask Pigi and Algorand, and I'm really excited to hear that. The same thing goes for everybody online. Please feel free to use Zoom chat, ask your questions. You can do it actually throughout the presentation, and I will then read them at the very end of the presentation during the Q&A session. Pigi, welcome to UF Blockchain Lab. We are grateful for your presentation today, and the mic is all yours.
All right, thanks, Marco. I wish I could be there in person. And also, just before we start, let me know if I lag, if I freeze or anything. I'm in a very solid Wi-Fi, but you never know. All right, cool, great. All right, guys. Well, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here. And yeah, as Marco said, today I'm gonna talk a little bit about the metaverse, NFTs, and the creator economy as well, also including gaming. Of course, an overview of like Algorand as an ecosystem and all the opportunities that lies within the ecosystem. Also for young entrepreneurs or students that want to approach the crypto industry or are interested in Algorand specifically. I'm also gonna give you guys a little bit of the lessons learned that I learned throughout my crypto journey, and hopefully I'll be able to be helpful as you pursue a crypto career, hopefully, or just if you're interested in the space overall. So without further ado, let's get into it. If I can change slide. All right, sorry. So yeah, this is my crypto journey in a nutshell. I used to run the blockchain club at University of California, Santa Barbara during my master year, and it was a great experience. I met a lot of great people. I learned a lot, and it was a great moment for me to kind of like get my hands dirty with the crypto industry, and also overall as like as a learning experience and network opportunity. I also ran for around 3 years, and I'm an advisor to the Blockchain Acceleration Foundation, which is a 501c3 nonprofit that starts accredited blockchain courses at universities. And that's also actually how Mark and I met, and it's a great way for students that want to get into the industry. The Blockchain Acceleration Foundation, aka BAF, works with several university blockchain clubs around the world, and just focusing on education, research, products if you're interested in building community overall, and also placement if you're interested in getting into the industry, either with an internship or like more full-time positions. And last but not least, I'm now with the Algorand Foundation. I was a grant recipient with BAF, and I had the pleasure to work with Ugo and other people within the team. I believe you guys have met Ugo in the previous call, so it was such a pleasure, and the technology is so good that I decided to join full-time, and so far it's been great, and I'm very excited to share with you guys what we've been up to at Algorand. So the agenda for today, again, overview of Algorand. I believe you've definitely had like the protocol overview in way better terms from Ugo that I will possibly be able to explain, but yeah, nevertheless, I think there are some good points to reiterate. Then I'm gonna give you an overview of the NFT landscape, metaverse and gaming, and then I'll end with like some specific tips and tricks just to get into the industry. Now, before I dive into the presentation, I wanna share this with you guys. I want this first to be kind of like an open class. So please ask questions at the end. Also in the free topics that I'm gonna talk about. Yes, there are a lot of good innovation, but I'm also gonna be a little bit critical because I think it's helpful for you to understand like what's out there, and that, you know, not everything is shiny and looks great, but there are also some things that, like, as an industry, we still need to figure out. So hopefully I'll be able to pick your brain, and again, feel free to ask questions at the end. But so let's get into it. So what is Algorand? Algorand is a layer 1 blockchain founded by Turing Award winner, MIT professor, and co-inventor of zero knowledge proof, Silvio Micali. Silvio is also by many considered the father of modern cryptography, and cryptographic primitives that he has invented are currently used widely in the industry and in some of the major chains like Bitcoin and Ethereum. So he decided to fund his own protocol, and you know, Algorand is a pure proof of stake. So it uses like this proof of stake model, but different from delegated proof of stake and other types of proof of stakes that are out there. This allows for full decentralization, and that's why we aim to solve the blockchain trilemma, which is, for those of you who are not aware, pretty much combining scalability, security, and decentralization in the same protocol. Many chains have achieved 2 of these 3 goals. Achieving all of the 3 is very hard, but at Algorand we think we have solved that. So and as a matter of fact, using Algorand is very cheap. Transaction fee on Algorand is 0.1 algo, so it's definitely way cheaper than using Ethereum or any other chains. At the moment, we have more than 1,800 active nodes, which shows decentralization. Anybody can be a node, and it's like there's no like token requirement to become, which is way more inclusive. Our main net has been up and running since 2019. We also take pride in being carbon neutral, which is of course great also because, you know, there's like a lot of environmental problems, specifically with proof of work, and that is one of the main concerns that you know, mainstream and people overall that are not really into crypto have with blockchain. So that is the direction that like the space is going to go towards, and we're already there. And also I think something that is good to point out, not just for Algorand, but also so you guys understand how the industry is structured. Pretty much the majority of layer 1s operate with a foundation, which is a non-profit entity, and a for-profit entity. Non-profit entities generally are the one giving out grants, fostering the ecosystem, you know, growing the community. Whereas the for-profit entities are the one developing the core protocol, SDKs, wallets, and so on and so forth. So at Algorand, we have Algorand Foundation, to which I'm an employee, and Algorand Inc. So I think this is it was a good thing to share, because that's how, again, the industry is structured. In terms of layer 1 capabilities, Algorand is not EVM compatible. EVM stands for Ethereum Virtual Machine. So we have our own virtual machine. We enable atomic transfers, which is a great way to share assets, you know, at the layer 1. We also have 4.5-second block finality, which is very important. You might hear in the industry that people are focused on transaction throughput, how many transactions per second a blockchain can process. But actually what really matters is finalizing transactions, so that these transactions are written on chain and do so in a very fast way. So we do that pretty fast, and that 4.5 seconds is actually going down to a little bit over 2 seconds by the end of the year. Also, another thing that is very important, we never fork. We have never forked, and we will never fork, because it's having a blockchain that forks can be an issue. Many of the main chains out there have forked, including Ethereum. And this is not ideal for many reasons, main ones being that now you have 2 chains, and you know, who decides whether a fork is done, and you know, other things that can be tricky, especially from governance perspective. I will not touch too much into that. If you guys are interested, in diving deeper into this specific topic, please feel free to ask questions. We have our own smart contract language in case there are coders in the audience. It's called TEAL, it stands for Transaction Execution Approval Language. It's a low-level language similar to assembly, but we also have a Python library called PyTeal that enables developers to write smart contracts using Python, which is one of the most commonly used programming languages out there. And we also have a bunch of different SDKs, Go, Java, you pick it and you know, if you want to get started. Another thing that I'm very excited about are state proofs. You might have heard of bridges, which are like ways pretty much to connect different blockchains to enable asset transfers from a blockchain to another. Blockchains have different standards, so it's a tricky task. But so there are two types of bridges out there: trusted bridges that require like third parties to manage. I'm not sure if you've heard that a few weeks ago there was one of the biggest hacks ever in the industry. It was carried on the Wormhole bridge to Solana. So Wormhole is a third party that you know, provides a trusted bridge, and it was hacked. And this is a problem because, again, blockchain aims to kind of like cut out the middleman. But if you insert like another third party, especially on something so crucial as bridges, then you know, things can happen, bad things can happen. So state proofs are what we call trustless bridges, and they use NARCs, which is a very interesting cryptographic primitive, and pretty much state proofs enable Ethereum state to be validated on Algorand and vice versa. So as we're not, as I said before, we're not EVM compatible, but this is the way we're going towards EVM compatibility, and that is the way we're going to be closer to the Ethereum ecosystem, which is still a very good ecosystem, a lot of innovation, a lot of great people. So we're not here to pretty much, like, as many people say, kill Ethereum, but we're here to collaborate and work with them and be sure that like we foster as an industry overall. So in terms of like Algorand Foundation and our ecosystem and how we foster the ecosystem, we have a 250 million Algo grant program distributed in 5 different buckets: research, education, social, Web4, which is thinking past just crypto and blockchain and see how we can attach the real world to blockchain. And of course, more crypto native use cases such as NFTs that I'm going to unpack today, but also DeFi, gaming, and other things. So if you're interested in getting a grant, if you're building something, if you have an idea that you're validating and you need a little bit of funding to get to the next stage, feel free to reach out. This grant program is, you know, first very generous, and also it's not just about the funding. I want to make sure that you guys understand this because it's very important. Getting a grant from the Algorand Foundation is a big stamp of approval on what you're working on and opens up all the different channels that are within the Algorand ecosystem. So it's a great way for you also to get awareness and get plugged into the ecosystem. So this is the general grant program, but we do have other additional programs. We have 150 million Algo DeFi program. So in case you're building a DeFi product, this is definitely something you should consider, because this funding that is exclusively allocated in addition to the one I mentioned before to DeFi. We also have another very exciting initiative, which is what we call Algorand Centers of Excellence. It's 100 million Algos committed for 10 years to create multidisciplinary blockchain centers around the world, kind of like, you know, here at UF, and fostering not only research, but also education and community, and making sure that we're training the next generation of professionals that are able to enter the industry with good enough knowledge to perform well and to do good overall. So this is a very exciting program for me, because I come from, as I mentioned before, with BAF and all my student work. I come from that, and I think that education is always the key of everything, but especially in an industry so new as crypto, where, you know, we really need quality education to break down the barriers and enable more people to get into the industry. Last but not least, we have a $2 million bounty program on Gitcoin. In case you're not familiar with Gitcoin, I highly recommend you check it out. Is the leading bounty platform for in the crypto industries, where you can go and solve what are called bounties and get rewarded in crypto for that, and at the same time you're learning useful skills, which I think it's a great mix and also enables you to become better as a professional. We also have like a very, very large VC network. So that is, I would say, the step after a grant. So after you receive the grant and you achieve like the first milestones of your project, then as I mentioned, you have this stamp of approval that enables you to go pitch your idea to all the different VCs that are in the Algorand ecosystem, which, as you can see, have very deep pockets, and they're also very interested in investing in disrupting projects that are building on Algorand. So if you're an entrepreneur, if you want to become an entrepreneur, this is the way. And again, feel free to reach out, because I'm more than happy to direct you. Now let's get the fun started. I would assume, as for now, you guys have heard of NFTs. If you have not, definitely you should be on Twitter. And just, you know, overall, it's something that definitely has come to mainstream, and it's now something that like celebrities are involved with, and, you know, the greater, you know, population of the world is aware of, even of crypto through NFTs, which I think is great. But just to get started simple, in case just to refresh some of the concepts, NFTs are token standards providing provable ownership over digital assets. Yes, the first mainstream use case was art, but NFTs are so much more. The reason being is because NFTs stands for non-fungible token, and literally anything can be non-fungible. Like even you guys are non-fungible. Your identity is something that is non-fungible. Your passport is something that is non-fungible. All these things can be tokenized. We're not there yet, because these are like structural change that needs to happen in society, and especially at the administration level and the government level. But, you know, as for now, we're having fun with this whole JPEG and art thing, which is cool and everything. But please, and of course, as I started this talk saying, I'm going to be a little bit controversial, because there are people that definitely don't like NFTs. And I don't know if there's any in the audience, but or at least skeptical or critical. So it's you know, worth reminding that yes, now it's attached to art, but NFTs again are so much more. And I can't wait for a world where we can have our DMV record as a token, so we don't have to stand in line to renew a registration. We can have our passport, our flight ticket as tokens that are unequivocally ours, and we can prove ownership over on the blockchain. So when this will happen, who knows? I think many years down the line. There's still a long way to go, but hopefully you guys can be helping out and be part of that change with your ideas. Another way that I really like in terms of like thinking of NFTs, think of them also as liquid IP, so intellectual property that is liquid in the way that can be moved around seamlessly and fast. Because even like going back to art, think about like having a painting at your house and you want to sell it. Well, you will have to go prove you know, authenticity of it through a third party, and then you will have to find someone that can list it and sell it, and that will take time. Whereas with, you know, art on chain, now we can move around assets very fast and without any friction, without any third party, which is way better than the status quo. Even in terms of number, global NFT sales surpassed global art sales in 2021. Just like NFTs on Ethereum, which of course is the biggest, you know, by market share, is the biggest chain, was just $41 billion. So it's definitely like big money has been spent in NFTs, and I don't see it slowing down. A lot of projects are gonna fail, a lot of money grab, a lot of scams out there. Again, being critical here, you guys need to know what's out there. But there's also a lot of good innovation, a lot of good art, and I don't see this slowing down. NFTs are also financial instruments. You can now, and going back to Liquid IP, you can now use NFTs as collateral to borrow against. So you can pretty much, if you own an NFT, you can use it, you can put it up again as a collateral and borrow money and use that money for other things. And you can do that again very seamlessly and very fast. Now, if you wanna use, say, if you're very lucky, a Picasso painting that you might have at home, well, good luck doing that, using this as a collateral. Again, you have to go through a lot of different steps with a lot of different third parties. So this is a great innovation that is happening in the space. Also, last but not least, NFTs, one of the main use cases that I've brought to the space is building communities that are attached to ownership of a specific collection. And I'm going to dive a little bit deeper in NFT collections. But these now, like, new communities are created, and you know, it's a new way for people to meet. Now, again, being critical, what are communities? Like, yes, I own the same NFT that, you know, a couple of you guys own in the class, and now we're all of a sudden friends online, and maybe we can go to some events that collection hosts. But at the end of the day, how strong is this community? Also, these communities are very tied into like a transactional value, because at the end of the day, we're buying an asset that is, you know, might appreciate in price. And so a lot of these communities are actually people that are speculating over NFTs. And so hence the question, are these real communities? Some of them are, a lot of them are not. So be careful when, like, you see people that get very excited about NFT communities and all of that, because at the end of the day, think of also of what you think as a community. Communities like the peers that you have, you know, next to you, that you've been in class with for many days, that you've met in person, that you have had personal conversations with, or your friends or your family. Yeah, so that's communities and NFTs is something that is open to debate, and we shall see where all these communities go 3-5 years from now, because yeah, now there's hype, but you have to last long if you want to build a solid community. So here are some stats just to show you guys how big the NFT market is. On the left side, you can see some of the top collections that have generated billions of dollars in trades. On the right side, you can see some of the main NFT marketplaces where people can list and sell and buy NFTs. OpenSea is by far the main, the leader in the market. Some other interesting marketplaces are emerging, but as for now, it's mainly OpenSea leading the way, and also mainly on Ethereum. So other chains, also Algorand, have NFT ecosystems, but as for now, still the majority of this specific niche is on Ethereum. So these are probably what you guys know as, mainly know as NFTs, or definitely what you know, got the mainstream attention. So what we call PFP collections, so profile pictures. So pretty much people buying NFTs and using them as profile pictures. I know this might sound crazy, but you should not underestimate the power of Twitter as a social media platform, and also you should not underestimate flexing. People love to flex. People spend a lot of money on bags, on cars, or anything, on you know, watches, and this is just a virtual way of flexing. So in case one of your concerns around NFTs, why are people buying, like spending all this money for just JPEGs, which are like a mix of pixels, then think that they're doing it to flex. That's honestly a lot of it. So just to give you an idea of like what a general PFP collection is, it's kind of like a trend in the industry to have like 10,000 randomly generated pictures that make up to a collection. People can mint them, which means you can pretty much generate the NFT not buying it from someone else. And then all these NFTs have different rarity and properties. So as you can see here, for example, the first one is an alien CryptoPunk. Aliens are very rare, CryptoPunk being one of the top collections. The second one is Bored Ape Yacht Club. Alien punks were sold for like millions of dollars because of their rarity trade. So rarity is definitely important. Another thing to consider, and I apologize, there's mistake here, but mint price below 0.25 ETH is generally what we see in the industry. Anything above that, in case you want to buy an NFT, don't do it, because it's you're paying a lot of money. So just so you know. Then another common denominator that we've seen in NFT PFP collections are that percentage of every sale goes to the artist, or a DAO, stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organization, that pretty much acts as a treasury for the collection to spend money and foster the community, work on initiatives, and so on and so forth. Generally speaking, you mint NFTs on native websites of collections, and then you trade them on secondary markets like OpenSea. This is what has been the trend so far. Who knows that like maybe in the future something will change, but this is generally what happens. Also be very careful that the website that you're actually minting an NFT is actually the real website. Always double check on Discord, always double check that is the actual real website that specific collection is using, because otherwise you will lose money, lose your keys, and yeah, it can get nasty. So always be careful. And then last but not least, additional utility that has been added and we have seen throughout different collections. NFTs give access to events. So for example, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Gary Vee. Is this like marketing influencer? He dropped an NFT collection, and now by having one of his NFTs, depends on like what rarity, but you get certain perks. Amongst them, having like a 5-minute chat with him whenever you want. So you can pitch him an idea or something like that, or then you can go to parties where you can meet him or something like that. So it definitely adds utility to just, the flex that I was talking before. And that is the way where NFTs are going. They need to find additional utility to just, owning this picture. So other collections, they enable staking mechanisms, so you can put your NFT in staking and obtain the utility token that the collection has minted. And with that utility token, you can perform certain actions within that community. Maybe you can mint a second drop, or you can use it to buy other collections that that specific collection has partnered with. So these are like very interesting use cases that have been added, and I guess innovation is limitless, especially in this industry. So very excited to see what else comes next. Now is where I get a little bit critical. Demystifying NFTs. Yes, I've told you guys that these are ways to certify or prove that we have ownership over a specific virtual asset. But it can get tricky. So there's the first one that I want to share with you is there are what are called on-chain and off-chain NFTs. So a lot of collections out there will tell you that you're owning the NFT, and in that case a picture, but the reality of fact is that you can actually you have a link on chain that points out to metadata off chain, and this metadata is where the actual picture is stored. Now this is a big issue, because if you have what you think is yours off chain hosted by a third party, then we're back at square one, and we haven't really solved the whole provably ownership and all of that. So this is the case with many collections. So always be careful. Another great danger here is that this metadata that is stored off chain can be altered because of course it's exposed. It's not on chain, so it's not as secure as like being on a blockchain. So these are things that you should be aware. Another main concern for the NFT industry is the centralized infrastructure. I told you that OpenSea is pretty much like the market leader in terms of like secondary market, and this is a problem because if OpenSea goes down or has an update, then we can have issues. And actually, a couple of weeks ago, OpenSea had an update, and there was some malicious hackers that were able to steal some NFTs from people, and throughout links or other ways. And this is a problem because now you're pretty much you're interacting with on-chain data, but through a third party. If the third party acts maliciously, then it's a problem. So always look for other solutions. Don't think that like what is the status quo is like the best. Always, and this overall in crypto, always challenge the status quo and always ask questions. And if you see something that you think it's not really transparent, then dive deeper and do your research, because again, this is a very experimental space, things can be better and can be improved, but again, always have a critical eye. Another big issue with NFTs is censorship. Now, one of the core values of blockchains is that they should be censorship resistant at the layer 1, and that is the case with many of them. But now what happens if censorship happens at the application level, which means applications being built on top of the first layer, censoring users? So that has happened. So for example, some marketplaces delisted certain NFT collections for different reasons. Maybe they were not safe for work. Maybe they were a copy of an existing collection. And now we can argue that, like, if you're a business, you're providing a service, then you have a terms of use, and then you should have discretion over what you want to do or you don't want to do. But we live in a permissionless world, especially with crypto. So this is a big issue because we don't want to censor people, because we're building again an open economy where everybody can enter. Now, if there's censorship, that is a big problem. Another big problem that exists is arbitrage between different marketplaces. What this means is pretty much the same NFT collection is listed on different marketplaces with different prices, and you can actually see quite a significant spread between the different prices. So several $100s that has happened. So this is an issue because now people can get tricked in buying something that they could have bought for cheap on another marketplace. So yeah, again, pointing out some of the issues here. And the last point that kind of ties back to the censorship is what are called derivative collections. These are pretty much collections that are like kind of like a copycat of existing collections. So for example, Bored Ape Yacht Club is one of the main collections that was launched on ETH, but there are, like, of course, a lot of like derivative collections, but for example, there's like a Bored Ape Solana club on Solana. Pretty much the same collection, exactly the same art, but it's on Solana. So this was also, there was also a lot of debate around this. And again, going back to censorship, is like, should we censor these guys because they're like blatantly copying someone else's work, or we're living in an open economy, so everybody should be able to just drop art as they wish. I don't have an answer. Again, this debate, we can debate. Hopefully we can do that at the end, but this slide was just to point out some of the issues with NFTs that we're currently facing as an industry. These are some of the cutest collections on Algorand. If you like the art and you don't have money to spend on transaction fees to buy NFTs on Ethereum, I highly encourage you checking out some of these collections. Some of these are actually also making a change in terms of like social impact. For example, Algorand, the first collection that you see here, a percentage of every sale is actually dedicated to planting trees, and so far they've planted over 50,000 trees. And other collections here, they donate money to charities and proceeds from sales. So it's actually pretty cool. And if you want to start checking out some of the NFTs on Algorand, I'll be sharing my slides afterwards, but I put some links here for some of our marketplaces and some other very, very useful tools that you can use in terms of like checking out rarity, price, seeing like what, and also you can auction NFTs, so you don't have to like buy it right away. So I highly recommend checking it out if you are interested in buying some of the art on Algorand, which is pretty cool. Now let's talk about Metaverse. Again, being critical here. What's the point of Metaverses? So if you're a millennial or Gen Zer like myself, there's not much new here because we have all played video games. We've been in virtual worlds where you have an avatar and you can do and go around performing certain tasks and certain activities. So what's new with this metaverse thing? Well, now with metaverses and the convergence of metaverses and crypto, which I want to make sure that like you guys understand that metaverses are not a crypto, like they have a lot of intersections with crypto, but they're not natively a crypto thing because they're more on like the gaming spectrum and the like social spectrum rather than like more the crypto spectrum, like things like DeFi or NFTs. So now with crypto primitives into metaverses, now you can start owning pieces of this virtual world. So you can buy land, trade virtual assets, have your own avatar, and go buy other people assets. All the metaverses out there have built their capabilities. So if you ever played SimCity, then you can relate and you can build your house and put your NFTs and all of that. Which is pretty cool. And it's also cool for brands because now they have an additional sales channel. And in fact, several like big brands such as like Atari, Samsung, Nike, and all of that have purchased lands on metaverses and have set up their online shop where people can go there and shop and actually buy real, real goods, but in a more engaging way. So it's a new way for brands to engage with their audience. This is definitely bringing additional economic value in the ways that like now digital assets can be traded easier and again gives more exposure to brands, and it's also a natural synergy with augmented reality and virtual reality. And again, we shall see how that goes, but it's the natural next step in terms of like social engagement. Now, last point is very crucial here. When Meta, I bet you guys have all seen that Facebook has rebranded and is now called Meta, and it's definitely a smart move from them because metaverses are definitely real, and it's definitely a trend that is gonna spike in the next few years. Now, when Meta launches its own metaverse and they have already 2 billion users, what will happen to all the more crypto metaverses like Decentraland or Sandbox or others? They're building this from the ground up with way less resources and definitely way less users. Then it's still an open question. We don't know yet. So, but I wanted for you guys, when you approach metaverses and when you think about metaverses, to keep this at the back of your mind, because Facebook has a lot of money, Facebook has a lot of resources, and they're serious about doing this. So, will this be a one fit all, or will there be like space for different metaverses to connect? I definitely think there's going to be a lot of like interoperability and different worlds being created, but still there's a big question mark here for just the power that Meta has. All right, now I want to talk a little bit about something that I'm personally very excited, and I want to start with a little trivia. I don't know if there's a way for me to hear the answer, but I would love for you guys to guess who made this quote. So, Blizzard removed the damage component from my beloved Warlock Siphon life spell. I cried myself to sleep, and on that day I realized what our centralized services can bring. Can you guess who made this quote? I don't know if there's a way for, maybe I should. All right, we have a winner. Yes, it was Vitalik Buterin, co-founder of Ethereum. And this was one of the main reasons why he went out and built Ethereum, because in games, there's this big problem where you can spend a lot of time, a lot of money sometimes on building your characters, on upgrading your characters, and then maybe the game you're playing on releases an update where pretty much what you have done becomes useless, and also there's no way for you to sell these digital assets that you've been working so hard on. I relate because I used to play Clash of Clans. I don't know if you guys ever played this game. It's a lot of fun, but it also takes a lot of time, where it literally takes like up to 2 weeks to upgrade a building. And at one point I asked myself, okay, Pigi, you got to like level 171. What next? You have this village, which can be worth hundreds of dollars, but how can you sell it? Well, the answer to that is I have to get on like Discord or some communities, Facebook groups, whoever, and find some guy that wants to buy my village. Post, I post about it, and then I have to coordinate with him, virtually, and then maybe we meet in person. Maybe he sends me a PayPal. I give him my login. When do we do it? What time do I send him my login? And then he sends me the money. What if he doesn't send me the money? A lot of questions, a lot of issues here. So that is why gaming is going to be the next big vertical in crypto, and it already kind of is. But as DeFi has emerged, as NFTs have emerged, gaming is the next big vertical that crypto is disrupting and is bringing a lot of innovation and economic value to. There's a new model called play to earn. You might have heard about it. It's it is how the same way it sounds. So you literally play a game to earn tokens. I want to pick your brain here with like a minor detail, which I think is very important though. I like the term play and earn more than play to earn, because at the end of the day, people play games because they naturally enjoy the game. And then if they can earn some money, if they can earn some NFT, then I think it's just better. But the whole concept of like having people playing to earn money, well, it can be toxic. And there's already some derivations that are a little worrisome to me. For example, there's this game called Axie Infinity, where you have pretty much, it's a battle monster game where you can battle your monsters. You have to buy 3 monsters at least to start playing the game, and it takes like $1,200 or so to buy this monster. So not everybody can do. But what has happened is that people who bought the monsters, now they're lending their monsters to people who cannot afford buying the monsters, and these people play, and then they share some of the tokens they earned with the people who actually own the assets. Now, this can be pretty bad, especially in underdeveloped countries, and where we can see things that can, I don't want to say borderline slavery, but like definitely like very labor intensive, like farms of gamers that like literally play the game just to earn tokens. And that should not be the whole focus of games. People should play games because they enjoy playing the games, not because they make money out of it. And then again, if they make money, then it's better. Another trend in crypto gaming that we've seen is what is called gamify. So it's pretty much bringing gaming primitives and gaming interactions to DeFi. One of the main examples I can give is a game called DeFi Kingdom. Pretty much it enables you to go around this map and perform tasks that you can do on DeFi protocols, for example, like start farming tokens or swapping tokens or providing liquidity to pools. You can do it in a gamified way. So now you can go to the market and swap tokens, and you have your avatar and it's cute, and you can swap tokens with like another avatar and so on. So and this is like it was a kind of like a natural next step for DeFi, and I think it's very interesting to see how this evolves. And it's definitely like a good way for the crypto industry to evolve. So definitely like keep an eye onto this, because it's a very interesting application. Another thing, yes, there's a lot of innovation, but we're still lacking a AAA game in crypto. What I mean by that is like a Call of Duty, Gears of War, Halo, whatever you play, Apex. There's no game like that right now in crypto, or that uses crypto primitives. We definitely will see AAA games come out. hopefully in the next couple of years. That is not the case at the moment. Now, last but not least, another very important aspect of gaming, of crypto games are guilds. Guilds are not native to crypto, meaning that like guilds existed way before this whole new trend. Gamers used to meet on Discord already, and actually Discord came out as a gaming platform. And these guilds are, used to just interact with the community. But now in crypto, there's like new guilds of devs. They're building games. Or you can join a guild to play a game and be rewarded just by playing the game or the games that are supported by that guild. And it's definitely a great way for you to get involved in crypto gaming overall. And speaking of involvement, how am I doing on time? Let me know if I'm getting a little bit over, Marco. But all right, just I wanted to wrap this up with some tips and tricks for a crypto career. Okay, my screen froze. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you and we see you really well.
All right. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So in terms of like just few trips, definitely join your school's blockchain club. That is the best way for you to get exposure to the industry. Get actively involved if you can. It's a great resume builder. Be also an active member of like the overall crypto community. I would recommend volunteer at events. There's a lot of volunteering opportunities, and it's a great way for you to meet people, participate in hackathons, be active on Twitter and Discord. Those are the main two platforms where the whole industry lies. Build a personal portfolio. Don't entirely rely on your resume. Yes, you're attending a great school, but building something of your own, even fork some code and play around with, or just build an idea, something like that is definitely a great way for you to get into the industry. Complete bounties, as I said, you can learn and at the same time earn money, and always do your own research, because this is a very experimental space. So, don't take for granted what people tell you, even what I told you today. So challenge me, please, because that is the way we can grow better as a community, as an industry, and that's how we ultimately can enable a better world and a more open society and open economy. And with that said, there's some useful links here. Oh, I see I'm not frozen anymore. Great. And yeah, open to questions. I'm sorry I went a little bit over, but got carried away.
Thank you very much, Pigi. We are a few minutes over our allocated time, but that was amazing presentation. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you to all the audience, both in person as well as online, for joining us today here at University of Florida Blockchain Lab. My name is Marko Suverjic. I am the director of the Blockchain Lab, and we're here in our blockchain course today. Thank you, Algorand Foundation, for providing the speakers for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Marco. It was great. Bye, everyone.